What if failure isn't the end of your story, but the blueprint to the life you always wanted?
By the end of this conversation, you'll be able to see how failures can be mined for its hidden assets and how setbacks can be stepping stones for success.
But what most people don't realize is that your failures can actually increase your influence. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Welcome to the Exponential Life Podcast, where we help you build a life you desire one system at a time. I'm Justin.
And I'm Andrea, and here we believe in the 5 pillars: faith, fitness, family, finance, and freedom. So today we're really talking about how to rebuild after failure. I think this is very crucial to all of us because most times we let failure define who we are. We stick to that failure and we just sink to the bottomless pit is what I'm going to call it. And then we just decide that we can't come out. And I think that all of us have come to this in some way, shape, or form, right? Especially when you're trying to break out the 9 to 5, the rat race. You hear it all the time. And then you're like, well, I'm going to get out the rat race. And for some odd reason, you don't get out the rat race and then you're stuck in it forever. But my point being, I just want to talk about that a little bit. Well, we talk about that a little bit today and just have a discussion. All right. So the first thing I want to start with is defining failure. Because I know for me, it's a negative connotation, or it was a negative connotation that I'm still actually fighting through, right? So let's just talk about the definition of failure. Pause, because I did find a definition. So don't start saying anything just yet. All right. So here we go. So failure, honestly, this is what failure said. Lack of success. Like, that was it. Lack of success. And lack of, automatically is a negative connotation. But then for you, how do you define failure? Because that's what I think of when I hear failure. But what do you hear when you hear failure?
You can only fail when you're dead.
How? Like, that's your how.
How I look at it is that life is continuous, right? So we always moving, always shaking, always grooving. And we can always improve. When you stop, when you shut something off, that's when failure, unless it's a failure. But if like you have a setback, or you have a sliding, or you don't complete something right away, you can not complete a project. More so, I would say than I don't consider that failing.
So then, I guess, why do most of us have the definition? I feel most people have the definition that I have for failure. Not the definition you have that I can only fail when I'm dead. It's really the definition that I have.
We're at school system. It teaches you that. So it tells you like, hey, this is a failing grade. At the end of the semester, you're failed. I mean, with knowledge is always different. Like how you acquire knowledge, how you gain knowledge, how you grow. Like life is different in school. So I believe we were taught at a young age framework of failing, and it is beneficial in certain aspects of life. That same framework does not create everything in this world. So that framework, that's one of the frameworks of understanding, assessing, achieving, having success, having, moving forward, hitting objectives. That is one framework. So I believe a lot of the failure definition comes from our school training.
So basically, when I got that F, it was teaching me, or you say training me, to think that was final and definite.
Correct. That's finite. Like this F is you. You are a failure. You are sucky. That's a lot of negative connotation that comes with that. So now, do I say we should miss every deadline? No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's a place and a time for all frameworks, and I don't believe all frameworks work everywhere.
What do you mean by framework?
So the school framework, where you have a deadline to learn material that's taught at a certain way. So the framework of that is, this is the way you should learn, and this is the way you should compute information. This is the way you should understand it. This is the way you should bring it in. And then at the end, this is how you should be able to spit it back out. And what I'm saying to that is, not everybody learns the same. Not everybody learns the same way and receives the same type of teaching. Not everybody learns the same way and receives and spits back out the same information. Like some people can spit out information. Like I know several carpenters or mechanics or whatever who aren't the greatest at writing it, but if they go out there and do the work, they're top notch. So tactical. So it's a framework of understanding success, like completing the goal, and also completing the goal in the search what is considered a timely manner.
So, like, I'm a good test taker. Like, I know I'm a good test taker, but everyone is not a good test taker. However, if you ask me to do like the hands-on practical stuff, I might not necessarily succeed at that. I might need a little bit of help. Kind of like Double D, we had to do the boards and all that jazz. So like that was a little bit different, but you gave me a circuit board on a piece of paper. I was gung-ho, perfectly fine.
Right, but you say you're a good test taker. That's the third training. Like, it's a framework, right? Tests are all over, all in the world. So I was like, the framework, I guess I also went kind of all over the place. I want to make sure I say this right. The teaching of the scholastic framework of learn information that's taught to you mainly by auditory, not tactical, and be able to regurgitate it back in a written form. That's one framework. So then the other one is teach you with a practical tool, like a lot of technical schools do, teach you hands-on, touching stuff, tactical, and then go out in the field and recreate it with your hands, with your actual body, with your movements. That's another framework. So I believe that second framework can reach a different pool of people. Some other people are theory, like they like to speak theories, and whereas not even the test, not even the touching of it, so not even the auditory, kind of like listening and lecturing, not even the touching, but some people like to speak theories. So like it's very imaginative. And what I'm thinking about is where people like to speak of the what ifs, the more like you would think of that it's more the philosophical or the science fields where it's like they're speaking about things that's beyond like the normal rotation.
So then for me, tie the frameworks back to failure.
So when it comes to failure, those frameworks, unless you've tried all different aspects of it, I feel like you can't really fail. And most people just try one avenue and say I'm failing. So like
okay.
You don't try touching it, you don't try the auditory. You're like I'm just this, so thus I can only learn this way. Like you just said, I'm a good test taker, but I'm not good at touching stuff.
So you're saying we're taught to operate in this framework. So like I went out and tried out for basketball. I didn't make it, but that was the only thing that I thought that I could do. So I didn't go try to do something else.
Correct. You could have been good at track. You could have been good at baseball. You could have been good at hockey, but you were taught you only are good at this.
Okay. Alrighty. I follow you now. So then as far as redefining what failure is, how do you go about, I guess I'll talk for myself. So as far as redefining what failure is, I think it's been more of a lifelong journey on redefining failure, because I will admit when I got a bad grade or I got something else, it was, oh, well, I got a bad grade and that's not good. And that might be how I sought validation because you did this right, this right, this right. Therefore, you got a reward. That's how a lot of things work. But then when I got out into the real world, as you say, that's when it was the SAT stuff where it's what's the best option.
Right.
It's not really pass or fail. It's what's the best option for where you are now. And so that's where we're us learning, like you might not admit your goal, but maybe that just wasn't the best option for what you're trying to do.
Correct.
So then redefining that thing. So what is your definition of failure?
So you said that. I guess I never said that. My definition of failure is stopping. It's just stopping. Like you're admitting defeat.
You're admitting defeat. Okay, so then should you even use the word failure? Because if you're admitting defeat, that means you're not going to get back up and keep trying.
Correct.
So then,
like to me, like if I started this job and it was so and so, I was told this to be my dream job. I get that I hate it. I don't like it. Do I stop trying to make money? Do I stop trying to grow investments? Do I stop trying to, like, what's the main goal? Like my main goal isn't this job. My main goal is X. Whatever X is, my main goal is to make money, create generational wealth, build a legacy. Like, what is your main goal? So like, that's where I'm saying, like, when you stop I was told I wanted to be at this Fortune 500 company, right? I didn't make it. So do I stop? Do I go now if your main goal is to be there at that job because of exposure, then all right, I didn't make it the first round. So then, okay, am I a failure? Or do I need to pivot, go to some other job first, learn from there, get my skills up, and then come back again?
So even then, though, you're not really saying you're defeated. So in my head, you never actually fail.
Not until
For you,
stop.
there's no such thing as failure.
Correct. You don't fail. You only fail when you die.
All right, then. Well, I don't use that definition. So, well, then.
You asked my definition.
You're right. I did. And that's definitely not the definition I'm working with here. All righty. So, you're going to have to work with my definition.
All right. Okay. Let's go.
Okay. Because this doesn't work if you don't use my definition.
All right. I think it works both ways. But
I do see there's people out there that definitely use your definition. It's just, we talk about opposites attracting, and I definitely don't use that definition for failure. Like, my failure was getting a D in anatomy.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. Once again, I believe it's going to work both ways. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be both ways in here.
Yes.
But in my head, like, me not reaching my goal is failure.
I got you.
Alrighty. So there's something else that I wanted to unravel in what you said, though. You said that people get wrapped up in the I didn't do this, therefore I am.
Right.
And so then we tie our identity to whatever we think that failure was. And that's when we stop pushing, stop trying, stop whatever else. So then I guess I want to talk about how to fight that battle. How do you backstep? Because I feel that's the first, what you said is that first building block. So we redefine it. Right? We've redefined it, or we've defined what failure means to us.
Right.
Because as I said, your definition of failure is different than my definition of failure. However, once you have that definition, you can work with redefining your identity or understanding how you see yourself when failure occurs.
Right.
Okay. So let's unravel the identity piece that you brought up next.
Okay. You go first.
Right. So as I said earlier, for me, my identity was super duper wrapped up in what I was successful at, even at work, right? I felt that because I did this, this, and this, I got rewarded in some way, shape, or form. Like, I pushed hard, I met my goals, I did all of this. And when I felt I didn't meet your goal, that's when I would not so much have repercussions, but I would have what I felt were problems because I wasn't successful. But the thing that I learned that when I became a manager, I feel that failures happen a little more often because it's no longer stuff that's within your control. And so I think that's when I started redefining what failure was for me, because I couldn't control the outcome when I became a manager. Like, I can try to sway what my people do, but I can't control them, so to speak.
I got you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you weren't the person who was doing the action, so they wouldn't be able to do exactly what you would do.
Correct.
And how you will make sure the outcome will happen.
Correct.
So yeah, your job becomes more of a leader. As a leader, become more of a persuader. Right.
And my ability to influence was more weight than anything else. How we met our deadlines, how we did this. So then my identity went from I am a failure to what do we need to do different next? Or what did I learn from this? Or I am still a good leader. We just have to do this differently.
I got you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how I saw an identity piece, like detaching yourself from identity, is understanding like what is your true end goal. So how I look at it is, if my end goal is to be a lawyer, right? Then I need to make sure my identity is wrapped in, all right, I'm going to look at, it's not wrapped into like getting into the school the first time. It's not wrapped into getting my passing the bar the first time. It's wrapped into being the best version of myself, so that when any obstacles come, I'm still going to be a lawyer. And so it's focusing on who I am as a person and my tenacity versus what people tell me who I should be, people tell me who I am. Because I think that's when people stop, because their identity is in the vehicle or is in like other people's opinion. and versus in who they should be. And when you hear the top performers or high performers, they always speaking about battling versus themselves, not battling versus others' opinions, because other people's opinions sway all the time. One moment you're the worst thing ever, next moment you're the greatest thing ever. Like people are not like, as a public wise, people are not like solid in their movements. Like
we always have something to say. We're not in the front, or like we're not there in the fire the whole time.
Right.
Like, so we can all play football when we're on the sidelines watching football.
Right. Like, was it Monday, Sunday night, or Saturday? I don't know what it's called now.
Oh, I think,
but pretty much like you can call the plays after it's done. Like, it's not even hindsight. It's just like, oh, well, I didn't got all the information afterwards. I can call the play. But in the moment, listen to the checks, knowing all the information, seeing the people in front of you, not being able to like see from a bird's eye view either, like just flat on as a quarterback, like, it's just a lot of pressure, and not everybody can do that. So, not putting your identity in other people, not putting your identity in the vehicle, but putting your identity in yourself, not even in the destination, but in yourself. Like, who are you? To become a lawyer, I need to be X. Not I need to be X because so and so said so, because I understand my personality. I understand who I am. I understand what I want. So thus, I need to be X to reach these goals.
Yeah. And so something else you said in there was the vehicle. Cause I know I got so caught up in the vehicle that we had to take a step back recently on what my true end goal was. Right. And my true end goal in life was to be stable, like financially stable, and then just be secure in whatever job I was in or whatever. Because one thing I didn't want was to ever lose a job, ever go back or whatever else. So that's where I said my vehicles would be med school, or it was just med school. Med school, and the fallback plan was a bioengineer, right? Because it would give me security and what I felt was stability. However, I got so caught up in the vehicle that I, for so long, got wrapped up in this. I failed to get to med school. And it wasn't until recently that med school was the vehicle. It wasn't the actual destination. It wasn't the true end goal. And so I know that because of that, it messed with my ability to bounce back and my resilience, which is another thing, because when you get so wrapped up in the vehicle, you lose sight of what the true end goal is. And so building that resilience, and I want to go into that next, because I think a part of rebuilding is the ability to understand and get the bounce back right. And so I don't know how many of you all get trapped up in the vehicle. I'm talking to y'all now, I'm not talking to Justin. Like, I don't know how many people truly get wrapped up in that vehicle so much because of what we're taught and what we've been exposed to, because there's always more than one way to skin a cat. And so, like, I'm really talking to y'all right now. Figure out if what you're pushing for is just the vehicle in itself and not your true end goal. Because if it's not your true end goal, the ability to bounce back is going to be ridiculously hard, right? And so there was a quote that I found in regards to resilience that I was looking at. Which one? Yeah, there's like 3 quotes, but remember that just because you hit bottom doesn't mean you have to stay there. That's Robert Downey Jr. There's another one by Kobe, because, we loved Kobe. The Mamba, Black Mamba. Once you know what failure feels like, determination chases success, right? And there was a book that says, winners are not those who never fail, but those who never quit. And that was by Ellen Louise Cole. That was his book. But with that, I kind of want to unpack, because now that I've realized, for me at least, that med school was never really the end goal. It was just the vehicle or the journey. And I think that you, resiliency-wise, have bounced back way more than I have with all the things that we have tried, the businesses, because you never view them as failures. Mm-hmm. You've always viewed them as lessons, I would say.
Yeah. So, like, sticking with identity. So the first step is understand your identity. Make sure you establish your identity. The second block, we talked about this. Second block is building resilience, because you have to do this that way, because you can't build resilience. You can't build true resilience until you understand your identity. So your identity is wrapped up in who you are, what your purpose is, understanding your gifting, understanding your goals, and building towards that. Like once you understand that, and I've been blessed with a vision, with vision, I say, all right, I know where I'm supposed to be.
What you mean you've been blessed with vision?
So, anyways,
no, for real, because they don't know what that means.
So, like gifting, right? You can see things, right? So, and I was gonna get to that afterwards. So, like, you have a gifting, right? You have a gift that's given to you. That everybody has one, at least one, where it's just easier. It comes easier to you than anybody else in this world. Like it just comes, or most people in this world, because some people have similar giftings. What is your gift? And that's what I was saying. Vision was that. Like I just was able to see things clearer, further in the future, and be that kind of dreamer kind of piece.
Like, okay. I'm about to say, like, because I hear vision, I hear prophecy.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I said clarify. Yeah. Clarify for people what you're trying to say.
I got you.
All right.
So with that, being able to see things in the future, like not prophecy wise, but like make connections. And your gifting will, if you nurture it, take care of it, and it will make room for you, right? Well, understanding your identity, understanding your gifting, understanding who you are, and that's always also a continuous journey too. It's not a finite day. Like you just learn yourself along the process, and you get more secure in your understanding. That helps you build resilience. Resilience is based on understanding where you're going, because you can hear a lot of no's, and then it's kind of cliche. You can you can hear a lot of no's. You got to get comfortable with no, hearing no, put yourself out there. The truth is, that's true. Like it's that simple. Like you're going to hear more no's than yeses. That's just that simple. Like when you're you're dating, when you're going out, you're trying to find a spouse, like you can give yourself some no's. They can give yourself some no's. Like that simple part of it. Like there are more no's out there. Like people are, 7 times more negative. So already people are telling themselves no a lot. And then the world's going to tell you no a lot. And the resilience comes from just knowing who you are. Don't allow people to make you lose who you are. And you work hard on finding that, because once you find that, becoming wealthy, becoming rich, becoming whatever the goals you want to hit, it's just that much easier, because you now, like you said, you just bounce back quicker. Like you look at bouncing, I'm going to hear a no, and I'm going to say, oh, okay. So that's just, all right, not that section, go to the next one. I'll restart a business. For some reason, it doesn't pan out. Well, I've learned something out of this business. So next time I start a business, it's going to be a lot much better. It's going to run that much more efficient. Like there are several people who you hear talk about it, where they would not hire someone who hasn't had a failed business, or have at least some failures in business world.
So let's talk piecing yourself together after a failure. Like what process do you go through? Because I can tell you my process, but what do you go through?
I look at what I did. So I first start off and say, hey, and everything is a lesson. Winning, failing. I don't call them failures. Come setbacks, pivot points. There's always a failure. There's always a lesson. So that's my first step.
Okay.
I tell myself that. Remind myself that. And then I say, okay, so let's go find that lesson. And then once I dive into it, I find what I believe is the lesson. Then I say, all right, how do we use this next step? This is for the next step. Because now I'm saying everything is catered towards the next step, the next best step. That is what everything's catered towards. Your mindset automatically going towards next best step, and not looking at it as, let me stop. Woe is me. And I will be honest, some of that stuff does try to creep in, like, oh, I'm not good enough. Because like there are some times where I received several no's in a row. And even me, I was like, all right, man, it's not for me. And I'm like, no, okay, something I'm not doing, something I'm not completing, something I am not figuring out. So like, that's how I assess it.
How do you know when it's not for you?
It's never not for me. Because my identity is wrapped into my end goal, not the vehicle or whatever. So like the environment might not be for me.
Okay.
That's what you're saying?
Yes. So that's really it. So you're saying that you're not saying the end goal is not for you. You're saying that vehicle is not for me to get to the end goal.
Correct. Sometimes it's just, sometimes the vehicle's not. Like certain jobs are just not for you. Like I had to leave a job from where I was at because he moved me to a department. I was like, nah. And so I moved departments, changed my environment. Because that wasn't for me. The way they were acting around that area and the way the management was treating the situation, I was like, no.
Okay. So then for me, the old me, this is what I used to do. Really, once I failed, it was like, okay, well, to me, that spoke to my character and who I was, going back to the identity. Therefore, I was like, I guess I'm not going to be going that route. Bucky, buddy, friend. So then it kind of shut me down. But now failure is, okay, let's analyze. Let's think about it. Well, first we have a freak out moment. Then we talk to somebody. And then we figure out the lesson and the failure so we can move on. So that's usually how it goes. I think it's easier with the kids, though, than it is with outside of the kids. Like me bouncing back as a mom. So in my head, I understand there'll be moments where I'm not going to be successful about how I parent.
Right.
So
your identity is not wrapped into being the perfect mom. Your identity is wrapped into being the best mom for your kids.
Yes, basically. So then that's how it's interesting that we have uncovered this because yes, definitely at home. I'm like, listen, if I can breastfeed for 12 months, I breastfeed for 12 months. If I don't, so be it. It is what it is. As long as my kids survive, eat, and keep it trucking, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that same thing should be wrapped up in how we operate in the world. Like we will be okay.
Yep. It should.
And that energy will be.
It's not like that though.
Because the world tells you to die like that.
It does. And that goes back to the identity. It goes to redefining what failure is and redefining it for ourselves.
Yeah.
But then going into the next part. So we're rebuilding. We've talked about identity. We've talked about the lessons in it, right? So the resilience, so bouncing back, basically. How do we learn from it? How do we grow from it? How do we bounce back and keep it trucking? The next thing that we talk about is the third block would be vision. I'm not going to say prophecy. I mean, I just said prophesizing, but it's not that. It's not that. But I looked at the quote for every single one of these, so give me a second.
Okay.
To help. So the next quote for this vision one is from Mark Cuban. I've learned that it doesn't matter how many times you failed. You only have to be right once. That's a horrible quote to go on that one.
But you picked it.
I really did. I was like, this is going to work. We're going to make this work. But here we go.
I'm going to go with vision. Let's go talk about vision. Go ahead now. Go ahead.
No, but I think when I read it the first time, though, you only have to be right once. It only takes one time to show that where you were headed was correct.
Yeah.
So that's how I connected it to vision.
That's a great connection.
I try. So with that being said, let's talk about, so why does vision matter in rebuilding confidence?
In rebuilding confidence. So
yes.
We have 4 blocks to rebuild confidence.
Why does vision matter?
Resilience, vision.
Yes, right. Vision is next. There's one more after this, but we can't reveal it yet.
I got you.
We got to keep them coming.
I'm not revealing it. I was just saying, all right, so 4 blocks. So we have vision. And why does vision, say it again?
Why does vision matter in rebuilding confidence?
To me, that wraps back into the identity. Like you don't want to lose your vision. You don't want to lose who you are. So you want to be able to see, like, this is what I'm painting. This is what I'm building. This is the goal I have. And that vision, like, it realigns you. Like, so once you're stable in your identity, it helps you build resilience. And with the resilience, like, you got to have vision. Like, you got to have vision to help you with that resilience. Like, I know where I'm going. And
so I think that the vision also goes to, would you do the 3-6-9 that you talk about? So can you talk about that for a little bit? The 369. I mean, I know you weren't going to tell them, but I'm going to ask you to tell them.
So 369. I heard this on a video. At three times a day. So you do the first part of the day. First time you do it, you write your vision, right? You write down what you want to do. Say, I want to be a millionaire in 5 years. I want to be a millionaire by 20, let's say 5 years from now, 2040. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be able to take care of my family and fly them to Cancun by XYZ. You write it 3 times in the morning. You write it 6 times in midday. You write it 9 times before you go to bed. And you put that in your head every day, reminding yourself that. So the world can't just keep chipping away and telling you you're not good enough. You're not good enough. So you physically like have a piece of paper and write it down. And you just write those sentences. You find 3 to 4. Don't go too crazy because then you get overwhelmed. Like find 4 max. 2 is the sweet spot. But and you just write it down every day. And it helps imprint something in your head that you would never that is so hard for somebody just to break those ties, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's really important because I think a lot of times we do get so caught up in we failed, we did this. Like to think that if Michael Jordan had quit basketball when he didn't make the team the first time, he never would have been where he was, but he had that foresight and vision to say, I'm going to come back stronger than I was before. And so that's just rebuilding because he went back to the drawing board. He must have practiced. I don't know what that man did. I don't play basketball. However, he came back so much stronger and then became one of the greatest. I'm not getting into don't come at me in the comments saying that he is the greatest. He is the GOAT. Then that's
all for debate.
Thank you.
It's all for debate.
However, it does. I think
Will Chamberlain.
Didn't I just say we're not going to do this? We're not. We're not about to get into this. Didn't we see him before somewhere?
No.
Was some famous basketball player. You had to tell me who he was.
I got you. Probably did.
But you don't remember this?
Not the person.
This is why people get pictures. So they can remember the moment.
It was somebody.
But in all seriousness, though, rebuild having that. I also think, though, not only do you need to do that for your vision, for your goals, I think that also by failing, it either helps you solidify it or it tells you that's not the path you should be on.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel sometimes we're on a path, med school, we're in a vehicle that we shouldn't even be in to begin with.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And so by failing or not being successful on that vehicle, we go a different route to get to that end destination.
And it helps you learn your identity. It helps solidify your identity as well. So like if you are so caught up with somebody told you to be an engineer, right? You're good at math, you're good at this, whatever. And you don't pan out in school. If your identity was wrapped up in what people told you and you don't pan out in school, then you start thinking like, am I good enough? Am I worthy? Am I whatever? Right? But that can be the biggest blessing in disguise because it's correcting your path to where you should be.
Yeah. And I think also, though, with that blessing, I think it also gets you some type of authority and influence with other people. So I think when I was a manager, having not been always successful in stuff and having what I feel is failed and not always meeting my goals, I was able to relate more to people and I was able to speak to my experiences.
Right. So I agree with that. Like failure makes you a better leader. If you've never failed, then I feel like you're not you're not going to be on the top leaderboard.
Why? That just means I'm good at what I do.
Nah. That means you haven't lived enough. Like no one gets out there no one gets out perfect. No one leaves this world perfect unless it's like, that's your Jesus. like think about this. The greatest athletes, the greatest leaders, we like all failed multiple times. Sometimes even several times, several of them publicly failed. And it makes them more, it just chisels them. It makes them better. Like you become better. Like you think about this on the sports and from the sports arena. Like your top baseball people are they fail like 60 to 70% of the time at bat. Basketball, you shoot 30%. That means you miss 7 out of 10. You miss 6 out of 10. Like if you shoot 40%, like you miss more than you make. Like the closeout percentages, like it's just like basket, like for we call it passing ratings for quarterbacks. Like it's just everybody shows you like you're gonna fail more than you're gonna fail more than you like have success.
So a leader that's never tried will not fail.
Right.
So then why would I want to follow someone that's not tried and not trying to, like they're not going to be able to lead me down the path I'm trying to go.
Either they haven't tried or somebody has like, someone has set them up perfectly to just win every moment. And I'm like, you become the greatest leader by failure. And like, that's something that people, I think that's the hidden gem in failure, is that you become a great leader in your life. You become a great leader in your side of you. Then you can lead others. You can lead your family. You can lead friends. You can lead your circles because you fail. Now people will pick at you because you fail. People, oh, you said you was going to do this. You said you, like when I told somebody, quick story. I told people I was leaving this environment. Well, it took me a year and a half before I had found the right stuff for me to leave the environment. Because there's certain things that came up on plate, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. And so a couple people came to me like, I thought you said you was leaving. I thought you, and I was like, man, you're right. I had to eat crow. I had like, all right, that's the old saying.
Eat crow.
Eat saying. That's an old country saying.
Okay, don't put country stuff up. Don't put country sayings up on this. I don't even know the country saying.
So I had to take it. I had to take what they said, and I'm like, it made me feel bad. But I was like, man, I'm telling you, I am. And hey, lo and behold, I'm gone. I moved on from that environment. But you got to remember who you are. Don't let the world tell you who you are. Remember who you are. Understand who you are. And like in your times when you doubt yourself, that's when you lean back on your identity and you lean back on your circle. Like, hey, they know who you are. Like, find you some good people who are going to be right in your circle. They know who you are. You know who you are. But yes, failure helps you become a great leader, I believe.
Okay.
That's my saying. Like, I can't trust. I have never followed someone who hasn't failed.
I will say when I go for advice, I want to know what they've already done in my position to know what they tried. Because how do I know you can lead me if you've never been through the fire yourself? Right.
That's what I'm saying. I've never listened to anyone who hasn't failed.
But yet I don't want to fail. That's funny.
That's the kid. That's the weird part about life, right? It's like the hidden truths are not really hidden. Like they're in your face. Like, be true to yourself. That's identity. Understand your mark. Because all the people who do right, like think about what's his name? Not Bill Gates.
I say I don't know these people. I'm not in your head.
I'm
your wife, but I'm not. We don't do this.
Even Bill Gates, but also think about the investor who just invested.
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett. He was true to himself. He wasn't even like invested in the big swings and all that stuff. And he's become one of the richest men in the world. Like, it's like you being true to yourself helps you become the best version. Like, marketing wise and all that stuff, like being true to yourself and not just fake true to yourself. Like some people like, oh, I'm being authentic. So you want to be weird with it. Like, no, you be true to yourself. Like people will, your tribe will come. Your people will come. Stop. Don't be someone else. Every high-end performer tell you that. Like they tell you that. Just be honest, be true to yourself. And when you be true to yourself, it gives you the edge to understand like what works and what doesn't work, right? When you fake, like it's like you kind of, does this really work? Does it not really work? So, and that's a little tangent.
I mean, you're good.
But yes, but I think that's what makes a good leader.
Okay.
Failure.
So then I think something else that leaders do well from their failures is they figure out what went wrong, they correct it so they don't make that same mistake again.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't truly find what's wrong if you're fake. So you gotta.
Why we keep going back to this identity thing? This really must get to you though.
I did that to me. That's the block one for a reason. Like if you don't know who you are, you can't really assess failures and success because you ain't running the right race.
Because you're running someone else's race.
Right. And you can't assess it the way they assess it.
I need to look at the camera too. I'm sorry, y'all. Because I'm over here looking at Justin. I need to look at y'all sometimes too. I'm going to turn my head like this.
Because I'm amazing.
Let's not get carried away.
Yeah. I mean,
you do look good though.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
You do too.
All right, continue, please. Why? I didn't even laugh at it in mine. I was serious.
I was, but it's I was like, yeah, I'm just being a husband. No.
Please continue with what you're saying.
Yeah, you've seen all the memes, all the stuff how husbands thinks. It's so true. It's so true.
Keep going.
Oh, that's it. What's the next one?
We're talking about identity.
Yeah.
We're talking about the next thing is just like the repetition, the keeping at it. Let me make sure I don't mess it up.
Right. So we talking about. So we went over block 1, which is identity. She said, I keep coming back to it. Block 2.
You do keep coming back to identity, though. Keep going, though.
Block 2.
I got it.
Is what? Resilience. You said I got it. So I thought you said.
Oh no.
Block 2 is resilience, and block 3 is vision. So block 4 and vision, and then we throw something in there for you. Understand that failure is leadership. Is the best way to leadership, because people ain't gonna follow you if they know you ain't been through the fire. He's like, how you gonna tell me how to do something and you don't really know what you're talking about?
The last block is lessons in the practice,
and that's how you wrap it all up. Like,
that's all, folks.
That's it.
No, but seriously,
explain everything we talked about was lessons.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is lessons, but it's also taking the things that you have learned and how do you actually, like, setting what habits you build or what boundaries you've made. For example, as a manager, I think that I was not successful because I always thought that I made a lot of assumptions, and I feel that I sometimes beat around the bush. And that's one of the lessons that I learned as being a manager, that you have to be honest with your people and don't just assume they're picking up things just because everybody around them did, because everybody else, all your people communicate differently. And so that's something that I learned. So I said, if I ever go back to being a manager, because I stepped out of the role to be a mom, not to be a mom, but be like, it was wearing me down. So I knew I had to step out for a little bit. And it's not like I'm not ever going to go back to management. It's just if I do decide to go back into management, one thing that I have decided is that I have to be honest with my employees, because if I'm not honest with them, am I truly being honest with myself? I'm sorry, microphone. Sorry if I heard that. But am I being honest with myself?
Right.
Because if I'm holding back, how is that helping them in any way, shape, or form?
Correct. I think, yeah. That's the identity piece, right? So the lessons learned help you redefine, help you become more resilient, help chisel out your identity and tying it all together, and help crisp your vision. Like, you can now see clearer. I can see clearly now.
Yeah, and because you can see clearly, you can better determine your vehicle.
Right. So then the lessons learned. So when you do quote unquote fail or have a setback, or how people call it, different people, you have different names for it. You take that lesson and you're like, all right, is my identity anchored in what's truly me, or is my identity anchored in what people told me to be? That's a question. All right, moving on to the resilience piece. Like, why did I not fight for this? Does it need to be fought for? Like, is this the right environment? Is this the right place? Is this the right tool? Is the right
like running that 5K? Yep.
Right. And then the vision piece is like, all right, does this align with my vision? And once again, if your identity is right, your resilience is there, then your vision should be pretty like, all right, this didn't align my vision, so I should never have done this. Or this does align my vision. I need to find a way to either go right back to this point and get to this point, or find a way to go parallel to this point.
Yep. And then you take with all this stuff that you've learned, and then you put something in place, or you think about it and you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do next time differently.
Yes.
Maybe I have to encourage myself a little bit differently, or I have to choose a different vehicle, or I have to make sure I'm waking up at 4:00 in the morning instead of 5, because 4:00 doesn't give me enough of time to get my morning routine done.
Correct.
It's stuff like that. So what do you have to do differently to keep growing, building, and getting to that end goal?
Those are your 4 blocks.
Alrighty.
And remember, little zinger in there. You wouldn't trust somebody who didn't fail. So why should you not believe you should fail? Why should you believe you should not fail?
Yeah.
I like when you said that. That was a good point.
I try. I try to add value to the podcast if I can.
You always add value.
Thanks. But that's all. That's all I have for today.
That's all, folks.
We just did that. You can't repeat it in the same
I know, but
podcast.
I said it better.
It makes me think when the girls were like, I can do anything better than you know. They were stuck on that song during the night routine one time.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Anyways.
Challenge.
The challenge is not the Cosby Show. All right. So the challenge for today is just think about one failure that you had and just put the lesson that you learned from that failure or setback in the comments.
And remember, it's not about doing more. It's about building better systems. So go build your go build your systems and be legendary. I'm Justin.
And I'm Andrea.
Peace.
Thanks for joining.